You cannot separate religious liberty from the issue of the homosexual agenda. In fact, the homosexual agenda represents the single greatest threat to religious liberty and freedom of association in America today. And Clark from the Log Cabin Republicans ought to know that. He was an Eagle Scout. Boy Scouts ran into enormous trouble on religious liberty and associational issues because they would not allow homosexuals to serve as scoutmasters. He knows the threat. Personnel is policy. Everybody in D.C. says that. Personnel is policy. When Governor Romney picks somebody who's an activist homosexual and puts him in a prominent position, he's sending a shout-out, it seems to me, to the homosexual lobby. And it's absurd, Kara, to say this is not about sexual orientation, sexual preference, because I wouldn't be talking to a representative of the Log Cabin Republicans if they didn't recognize that this is a big gain for the homosexual lobby, and that's why we're concerned.
Final thought, Clark.
Well, I prefer to be a Republican, and I prefer to be a practicing Episcopalian. My orientation, my happening to be gay is not a choice. So when you talk about preference, sure, I can choose who I vote for, and I can choose how I practice my faith because we have that liberty. But again, freedom means freedom for everyone, not for some. And, you know, Brian, y'all got to be careful because you're starting to sound like George Wallace. Segregation today, segregation tomorrow. Be careful because you're going to be less in the dustbin of history, buddy.
Clark.
Well,
Brian,
Clark, there's no equivalence between sexual orientation and race. People are born into a race. Sexual orientation is a matter of choice and preference.
We're going to have to
not a
leave
choice.
It there.